half the time I write poetry that looks like somebody spilled a jar of words on the page. You know, I don't always write in the traditional musical forms. When I do, just for me as the person who's putting something together, and you all know what it's like when you're at the early stages of a poem. You're wrestling with things. You're enjoying being in the middle of perplexities and doubts. And I really do like the fruitful tension that can be conferred by working with meter and rhyme when I do. There's no, I wouldn't proscribe or prescribe anything to anybody else. Everybody gets to write the way they want. But I do get something out of writing in the old forms. I still think that they have a lot of juice and kick. This thing is called Skaters. Our scene is a frozen lake where a woman is practicing for a competition. No one has skated on this lake very much, I guess, because she becomes aware of the reverse skater underneath her. This is written in a fiendish rhyme scheme. And I thought it had a name, but I have never been able to find it. I know, though, that Anne Sexton writes a poem in this same scheme, and yet nobody ever names it when they talk about that poem. I think this is a name.
Is that the poem that dares not say its name?
No, this is a...
Oh,
no,
okay.
but... No, it's called Her Kind. So
Okay,
look up
oh,
Her
okay.
Kind. It's in the same... It's a masterful poem as hers often are. So this is called Skaters. A town sleeps by a frozen lake. A single skater makes her own. With practice, turn and break and leap. She is, she thinks, alone, but there's a doubled soloist beneath her blades, the mirrored one who shares each move and can't exist and looks up. 3 turns, change foot spin, Y spiral, axle, Choctaw, splits, but can't break out and can't break in. A salchow, and she misses it, sits down hard, chagrin and bottom burn. She gets up, cold reflection. It's her eyes she sees. Turn after turn, her skating in a whispered scrawl defiles the mirror of the lake. 2 girls, one in an icy call and one of light, intent to take that jump she landed yesterday. She tries and falls, one more mistake to memorize and skate away. She doesn't even know. She writes predictions of her past, a book of sparrows, catalogs of lights beyond remorse. She never took a fall. She didn't, mother. She won't look beneath herself. But look, 2 girls bend backward, a backward B for both of her. Her mirror sky, her mirrored sky. It fits that she should make a B. Being is why we all believe ourselves to be captains of nameless sorrow. When one girl is and one can't be, 2 girls write once and write again. In gray depths, she can see the girl, made in her image in the ice, who does what she does, twirls each twirl as she does, doubles artifice and error. Today is not the day, she thinks, and does each spiral twice, avoiding what she comes to say through the white slashes on her face. Tomorrow she could lose to that Ukrainian girl in second place. The ice girl leaves unspoken, what is that pain next to mine? You are, I'm not, except in your light, caught shadow, forever unaware. Blunted, the sharp competitor works to peak before the meet, so she ignores the other her across the rapiered surface. Fleet in skates that edge hers, poised on cut meniscus ice. The thought, defeat, ajar in space. She kicks it shut. She practices the Russian split, toe touching midair, sees the thong between the legs, draws opposite compulsories beneath her. Long down deep, the head skates skyward. Own moves flipped. Sit spiral, same and wrong. She's drilling up as she drills down. Breath clouds, sweat steams off. What do they say? Words she backward carves in ice with eyelash traceries. They say, the skater you see twice. For while she skates, keen to immerse herself in grace, beneath her lies her sister skater in reverse of what she thinks. The self she has, she does not own. The jump she made last time waits unmade. Winning was a dream for her and for her shade, whose hand flies up as hers flies down, one frozen fearless, one afraid the ice will thaw and skaters drown.
Wow. Thank you.
So-
The doubled self with so much athleticism and artistry in there. Wow.
She's better
Well done, sir.
on skates than I am. But so, okay, can I make a comment? You said I can make a comment.
Yeah.
All right.
Comment away.
Subhead. You bend the sentence so it rhymes at the end. Close quote. And so do you, so it doesn't, and we can tell. Remember what Samuel Johnson, who preferred rhyming couplets, had to say about blank verse. Quote, in blank verse, he said, the language suffered more distortion to keep it out of prose than any convenience or limitation to be apprehended from the shackles and circumscription of rhyme. So, and I think the same can be said for people who write open form. You can tell what they're doing to keep it open form. You can tell what they're trying to avoid. So the next time you think of saying you bend the sentence so it rhymes at the end, remember, so do you, so it don't. So do you, so it don't. A rhyming poem, when it's trite, is not trite because it rhymes. It's trite first. It's a bad poem that happens to rhyme. It is not trite because it rhymes. It's trite first. Why is that? Because the main force of the rhymed and metered poem lies neither in the rhymes nor the meter. And this is tough to talk about, but I do want to. It lies in the way, everybody knows this, it lies in the way the poem happens to roll out, the marshaling of energy and meaning across the page. Meter and rhyme are embroiled and embroiled in all that, but they're not identical to it. So the meter rhyme will give flavor, it will be right in the center of what the poem is, but it's the main thing where you're looking at, the main reason when you're reading a poem that it strikes you is because it strikes you, because it happens in a certain way. Make that happen, rhyme with meter, cool. Here's Willa Cather writing to a friend in 1915. She's among the first U.S. audience of Robert Frost's book, North of Boston. And she gets it. She says, isn't North of Boston a real thriller? How about that, calling a book of poems a real thriller? I love that. By the way, this book of poems has stuff like the Death of the Hired Man and my favorite Frost poem, Home Burial, which if you've not read, may be the best thing he ever turned his hand to, all things considered. Look at the use of blank verse in that thing. That is just a monument. And she says, such individual verse, and all made out of the cold, Twilight Zone stuff that one has always thought pale matter for poetry. Parenthesis, I don't, of course, mean the avowed subject matter, but the unavowed, Frost's own mental reaction. So she's responding to that weird feeling that a lot of Frost poems have, the Twilight Zone stuff. The book is so important and so devoid of splendor. Out of this shabby, ungrammatical new bunch of people writing poems right now in 1915, it's so amazing to find someone who can write verse in such real, tight, tough verse as it is. Individual syncopation, individual intervals, queer swell in the middle of the line. She's damn right about that, by the way. Read Frost and feel that strange marshaling of energies in his lines. He writes very strict meter, and he doesn't stretch for rhymes most of the time. His rhyming words are not especially original because that's not how he understood writing verse. What he understood was when you accept the task of writing verse, there's a certain amount of rules that you obey, that you've decided to do that. He called free verse playing tennis with the net down. Now, I wouldn't go that far, but that's his understanding. You're writing something that you've decided is going to take a shape. Okay, let's take the shape. But the point is, what makes Frost Frost is not the shape. What makes Frost Frost is Frost, how it moves. What makes Frost Frost is how that energy happens, how it swells, that queer swell in the middle of the line. Then a dreary flattening out of words to offset it. The atmosphere, the mental atmosphere, is a little like Chekhov, don't you think? Awfully damp, marshy mind with June bugs. Lots of cheerful themes too, but he's really, truly poet with something fresh to say, and it's fine that he came along. So all I want to say about that is, here's someone who got it. Is that what makes, she doesn't say, oh yeah, he's a great rhymer. She says, when I read him, I'm in for a ride. If you can do that, that's what you do with rhymed poetry, and what